Hi everyone, this is Chris with Hawthorne Drum Shop. Thanks for checking us out. We picked up a collection last weekend and I wanted to take some time to bring you guys through it. But as a reminder, please like and subscribe. We'll be doing more videos in the future, but let's dive in. So this was a collection by, I'll put it this way. If you've been doing this longer than I have, which a lot of people have, you've probably heard of this person. So his name was Mark Cooper. Some people knew him as Whitey. He was in my opinion, like one of the most well-known and just the guy who knew a lot about Slingerland and a lot about vintage drums. He used to have a website called Cooper's Vintage Drums. We would catalog all the things he found, all of his research, and he was really well-researched, really well-known. Mark was a local guy, so he lived across town, and unfortunately he battled cancer for a while, and he passed last year. So his widow, Adrian, reached out to us and wanted to pass along what was left of his collection. And in honor of Whitey and in honor of the stuff that we have, I wanted to kind of take you guys through some of the bigger pieces. Now, there's a ton of hardware and heads and stains and all kinds of stuff. I probably will skip past all that because no one really cares about that. But he has some really interesting and cool pieces here that I want to show you guys, and we're going to be putting, most of this stuff up for sale. So let's check it out. So as I mentioned, Mark was mostly a Slingerland guy. He did stuff with Leedy and whatnot, but people know him for Slingerland. So obviously we have some Radio Kings. I think this is a 7x14, and this looks like almost an aged silver sparkle. A lot of his stuff was pretty clean. I know he was pretty detailed. This one has a holder for you can still see in there, a lighting and heating element. That's a great piece. Got a Kent here. Mark really liked Kent, which is funny to me because I am not a Kent person. I think they're like the worst made drums ever, but they are kind of one of those brands that a lot of people, if you like Kent, you love Kent. So for some reason that brand was special to him. This is 50s. This looks like 5.5 by 14. This is a cool piece. It's a bigger flake, black diamond pearl. Usually the flakes are pretty big, but these ones are just like extra big. But 3-point throw off. This has original wires on it, which aren't in the best shape, but solid maple shell. It's a nice piece there. This looks like another 7x14, maybe it's a 7. White Marine Pearl, Radio King. A lot of his stuff, again, was single tension, or not single tension, center. These drums typically, I think, hold up better than the double lugs because they don't barrel over, but patent pending. Snare bridge there. Another nice piece. So this is like the nicest Kent drum I have ever seen. It's super clean. Look how nice that champagne is. Usually these drums don't age well. I mean, the head it almost looks like well, I guess it is played here. But neat how they did the clamp-on pedal there. But yeah, he was a Kent fan. So he was also really into sea green. This is just a random, it looks like a Warburg and Auger seat top here. This is one of the cooler pieces here. So we'll hang this up, California, Cooper and the Outlaws. I don't know who they were, but I would love to find out if anybody has information on them. So there's quite a few, I should say decent amount of calfskin heads. Most of them are usable, so if you need some calfskin heads, let us know. TR, anybody named TR? TR initials. This is cool. We'll hang this one up. Someone pointed out this looks like Leonardo DiCaprio, and honestly, it does. It's really hilarious. So if you believe in time travel, there's your Leo in the 30s. Oh, this is cool. This is, I don't have a stick with me, but this is the heaviest china, I've ever seen. It's almost like, it's not a gong, but it's really heavy. This was a piece that came along with everything else. There's also some other chinas. Hoop mounted cymbal. I have to figure out what's going on with the black diamond pearl, because there's this 28 bass. See, there's one, two, there's some black diamond pearl single tack bottoms over here, and we'll get to some other stuff, but there's quite a bit of black diamond pearl here. I'm not exactly what goes to what, but that's there. This, what do they call this? Was this a jobbing outfit? It's a little cocktail kit. That's an 18 by, I think it's 18 by 18 maybe, 18 by 20 base, and then it has an attachment here. And then that's a student 6.5 by 14 snare, and that goes right on top of the bass. This still has the handle, and this is really clean too. I really haven't even gone through, like, we kind of brought all this stuff in. I haven't taken a good bit of time to look through it. This is cool. So one of the things with Mark was that he was really good at restoring stuff. I sent this to a friend of mine, Joe Meckler, because Joe did a restoration. I can't remember if it was for him or not, but it was for a rose pearl snare. And looks like what he would do is he would take wrap and he would melt it in acetone. And then what he would do is he would take the leftover color and he would paint in, you know, the damage to the shell. And he did a really dang good job. So this is kind of cool being able to find that. It's got rose pearl on there. So kind of like a neat little, here's 2 other samples he was probably going to melt to turn into a rehab. Pretty neat. That's a little kind of stuff that I like and I think is important, especially if you're any kind of historian or you know, it's such a small community that, you know, that type of thing is cool. Bunch of parts here. I mean, inlay here. Get to this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pretty close to a full set of temple blocks. There are mounts in here. There's a trap table component over there that we'll get into, but these are pretty nice temple blocks. We'll be putting these up for sale. All right, now we're getting into some more snare drums. So this is one of my favorite pieces. I think this is a professional. Probably late 20s maybe. This is a wrap. I think that this was called Gold Pearl. Really just, I mean, beautiful, beautiful piece. Couple unoriginal tension rods. That looks like a solid either walnut or mahogany shell. This is another one of my favorite pieces. This was called a do-all, and it was like Slingerland's version of, you know, super sensitive. I've seen this in some of his videos, and that's another thing is if you like Google, there's all kinds of videos and documentation of him. This originally had nicer lugs on it, so I'm pretty sure that he bought this and used this as a donor drum, which is totally cool, but I think it would be neat. I'm going to try to figure out how to make this look better and put like a modern throw up on it or something, because this is a solid walnut or mahogany shell. 50s era. This looks like red glass. Radio King. Really, really nice. You saw that throne top. He was really into green. This is called a green. This is green pearl leady. This looks like it's a Broadway. A couple extra holes in there, but kind of a cool piece there. Now we're getting into some of the really wild stuff. This is a professional sea green pearl. So this was Mark's, if we knew him as Whitey, his favorite color. This is a tone flange. So they offered this in the late 20s, I think through the 30s. And it has kind of like a brass ring in here that's supposed to make more of a crisp sound, I think. I've actually never played one, so I don't have an opinion on it, but it's kind of a neat contraption. It looks a little bit like a banjo. And this is a 7. It's got had an interesting life. It's some cracks on it. Not cracks, or it looks like almost cuts. But really an awesome looking drum. We got another nice Radio King back here. Oh, look at this. How about this?
Look at this here. Look at this. Look at what I found.
You see what we're doing?
Hey, man.
Black Diamond Pearl China Tom. But as I was mentioning, there's a bunch. There's another bass drum here. That's a shell that was a donor. So we'll make some sort of kit out of there. There's also, this is an 11. So that's kind of a neat piece. They did 11-inch toms back there. I got original calf on there. Oh, this is a nice one too. I keep saying this is a nice one. This I think is an 8. Radio King Black Diamond Pearl. We'll sell this separate of the kit. But again, all of his stuff, good functional stuff. This is interesting only because it's like not something he would take. This is a Oyster Blue Jazz Fest. Pretty nice, good color. Didn't have a lot of Ludwig. Getting towards the end here. This is a conical Trixon snare shell, so I don't know what he was going to do with this, but you can see he ripped all the wrap off and took all the parts. Maybe we can find those parts. Oh, this is neat. So this is a sea green pearl. I think that this is probably an original wrap. It's definitely like not the same shade and wrap diamond pattern as the other one, but again, he liked that. This is made by El Cometa Rhythm Instruments made in Mexico. So, nailed it. Yeah. This is the trap component that I was talking about. And you can see, I don't wonder how big of a bass this fits. This attaches onto the hoops there. This attaches up here. That's what keeps it in the spot. And then I think you put your trap stuff up here. So that was kind of neat, finding that. There's a Kent kit here. The snare was over there. It's missing some parts. But again, he was a Kent guy. So these are not drums, as you can tell. So as I mentioned, he was very into like pearl finishes. I looked this up. This is a Roy Dahl. This was a company out of Philadelphia, I think in the 1920s. Tenor banjo. Obviously this needs work, but see the back has a rose pearl finish. But yeah, just kind of a beautiful piece. I know that when I remember him talking to me about these, he like couldn't help himself just because he loved the color so much. So we have this one, and then there's another one. And this one is newer. So this is a Leedy with a gold pearl. And you can see here, this one's in a nicer shape. It's got inlaid gold pearl all the way up there. Leedy over here. I mean, the joke is, I don't make them like they used to, but I mean, you can just kind of look at all the engraving work that had to be done on this. Even like this wood here is beautiful. And then the back obviously is gold pearl. So these will sell. I got to kind of learn a little bit more about them, but kind of interesting pieces. This is the best part about this whole collection. And this is a 24, 16, 13-inch sea green pearl Radio King kit. So this is going to stay with us. I don't think I've ever seen another full set of double lugged sea green pearl. So here's something interesting is, Mark talked about this kit a lot. There's some podcasts you can watch where he talks about where this came from and how he pieced it together. I swear that there was another tom he had with a different mount on here. But this mount you see here, and this will attach to the hoop. It's really kind of interesting how this works, but these are all calfskin top and bottom. I think I started pulling, there's so many parts and all these small parts that I'm trying to put everything together. He had at one point, I have to figure it out, he had T-handles on here, but I think he took them off and put clips on. But anyway, regardless, it doesn't matter. This is the floor tom. I think he got this from Bunny Carlos. It's got some splitting and cracking, but it has like, so is the original key holder there. Some crazing right here, but just the beautiful, I mean, it's amazing how well these all fit together in color. I'm going to take off these, these toms, and here are the spurs, I think, that went with this. And here's the bass. So the bass is the most interesting part. So this was originally a 28-inch bass. And again, there's a video you can search, Mark Cooper, Sea Green Pearl. He's doing an interview with somebody maybe 8 or 9 years ago talking about specifically this kit. But anyway, this was a 28-inch bass. So when I mean 28, I don't mean like 28 long. I mean 28 diameter. And apparently it was common back in the day after the big band era where a lot of people were playing big 28-inch bass drums, people wanted a smaller bass drum. So you could take a bass drum in and get it cut down from the bigger size to a smaller, and this is exactly what happened. So apparently it was like a furniture maker. I don't know how they did it, but you can see here, these were probably the original lug holes. So when you cut it down 4 inches, the tension is going to be, or you're going to have a gap that's a lot smaller between the lugs. You can actually kind of see this one is smaller. But you cut it down. There's a couple like pinholes under here you can see, and on the inside, wherever the seam is for the drum, he braced it with a piece of walnut. But just really crazy. I mean, who would have thought that you could do that? But this kit is just really beautiful. And we're going to get it set up and play and all that stuff. But anyway, that's it. I tried to go through there kind of fast. We have all kinds of hoops, tension rods, throw-offs, stands, all kinds of stuff. I'm not going to get into any of that, but... oh, yeah, thank you. I forgot about this. So this was obviously rewrapped. Top hat and cane was a rare finish. I think, I'd have to ask him, but I think that Jack Lawton did this. I know he did a lot of rewrapping with Top Hat and Cane, so that's probably a reproduction lug, but this is a 10 by 14. I don't see any extra holes. The interior looks to be original, but yeah, this is just kind of another random piece that he had that I think is interesting. We'll start listing those. It's really just quite a lot to get through, so if there's some pieces that you need, email us, chris@hawthorndrumshop.com with what you need, and we'll do our best to get back to you. But thanks for going with us on this journey through Mark's collection. In my opinion, it's really special, and I'm very happy to be able to pass a lot of this on to new owners. Again, we got some other cool videos coming up. Thanks again. Until next time.